Kilimanjaro Safaris に行きます。これ乗ってきます
Now, Jumbo everyone, my name is Chris and I will be your safari guide as we explore the Harambe Wildlife Reserve together. Now, as a last note, this is a very real truck and I'm also a very real human driving this very real truck. And the road out here does get super bumpy, so it is important to the Ituri Forest. Now, here in the Ituri Forest, all of these animals that we do have on the reserve, you'll want to, if you happen to have a camera or a phone with a camera, I recommend taking that camera out and putting it into a sport, action, or video setting, and that is a very great way to remember each of these very awesome animals that we have here. For instance, here on the right, we do have the okapi. Now, the okapi with its striped pants might look like a zebra, but it's actually not related to the zebra. It's actually the second cousin of the giraffe. You can tell that it's related to a giraffe because the shape of its skull is very similar to the shape of a giraffe skull, albeit just a little bit smaller. Now that okapi, I could tell when I first looked at its skull was that it's a female. And the reason why is because she does not actually have the same horn-like structures that are unique to all giraffe species. Granted, they aren't called horns, they're called ossicones, spelled O-S-S-I-O-I-C-O-N-E, which are a unique feature of all giraffe species and both genders of giraffe. The only non-giraffe species that does have it would be the male okapi. Now here in the bushes, you're going to see on the left, my friends, the bongos. Now the bongos are an antelope species where both of them, both genders, male and female, have those horns. It allows them to stay hidden while they run through thick bushes. Also, you're going to be wanting to look up over here on the left on that back corner here. On top of that incline, you're going to see the saddle-billed stork. It's a black and white bird with an orange bill. The saddle-billed stork can stand about 5 feet tall. They also have a wingspan of roughly 9 feet long, which is roughly the same size as the canopy above your heads. But now, my friends, we are going to be leaving the Ituri Forest and entering the Safi River. Friends, heading down into the Safi River. Let's try to look here. I see on the right, it looks like we've got the Nile hippopotamus over there on that back corner. Wow. The hippo does grow to be about 5,500 or 5,500 pounds. And a group of hippos is also called a bloat. Now, these white birds with gray feathers on them with large beaks, not these white birds with small beaks, the larger beak one, those are the pink-backed pelicans. They actually get their name from a pink color that shows up on their backs during their mating season. Oh, and now here we do have another hippo here in the back, on the left, my friends. In case you weren't able to see the hippo on the right.
Oh, no, a hippo.
Now it looks like this hippo, it just came up for air. Hippos do actually breathe. Yeah, so hippos do actually breathe air. They just hold their breath while underwater for about 8 minutes. So it came up for air, now it's going to go down for about 8 minutes, and then it'll come back up every 8 minutes or so.
Oh.
Looks like they might be doing a little bit of swimming. They are excellent swimmers, but they do often prefer to sink down to the bottom of the river and walk along the bottom. Although, given how much they weigh, if I weighed that much, I think I would also prefer to sink down to the bottom as well and just go for a stroll. The hippo is also very territorial. They can actually protect their territory using their up to 18-inch long tusks. Yes, that does mean their tusks can grow to be about 1.5 feet long. We also have here on the left, my friends, the Nile crocodile. Now it does look like this crocodile here is smiling at you, but I would encourage not smiling at him. In fact, actually, I would encourage never smiling at a crocodile. That's a great way to have a hook for a hand. Sorry, that was a really bad joke. But now, friends, we are going to be leaving the Safi River and entering the Savannah Overlook. Now, the Savannah Overlook does have one of the best views of the Savannah, which happens to give us a nice preview of these amazing animal species. Although it doesn't look like we're seeing much from the preview spot, so why don't we head on down into the Savannah West and see if we can't get a closer view. Now I can actually already see the tallest animal on the savannah, the giraffe. Now the giraffe can grow to heights of about 20 feet, and when they're born they're already 6 feet tall. A female giraffe actually gives birth standing up, so that does mean that a baby giraffe has roughly a 6-foot drop to the ground. I like to say the first thing that a baby giraffe feels is gravity, my friends. But don't worry, as that drop actually works out okay, as it jumpstarts the baby's lungs. So without that drop, it probably wouldn't be able to live. Do see something over here on the left. These are the sable antelope. Now the sable antelope has special significance to our reserve because we actually use them as the symbol of our reserve. In fact, it was actually the silhouette that was on the sign as we were first entering our reserve.
Giraffe there.
Now if you take a look at the pattern on these giraffe, you're going to actually notice that the edge to the pattern is very sharp and jagged. Now, each pattern on a giraffe is unique to the individual, as no two patterns are the same. Of course, the sharp and jagged edge to the pattern on these giraffe does indicate that they are the Maasai species. Of course. We do also have here on the left, my friends, the Ankole cattle, also called the Watusi cattle. They're actually the only domestic animal that are here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Domesticated not for meat or milk, but to be used as a status symbol. In fact, the most successful and wealthiest member of the Afrikaans tribes owns the most Ankole cattle. Back to the ossicones on these giraffe. Babies are actually born with ossicones, made not from bone but from cartilage, so they're very flexible and can actually move and flop around. And then as the giraffe will mature into adulthood, the ossicones will also ossify into bone. That's actually where they get their name. It also looks like I see over here, my friends, next to our tower of giraffe, a dazzle of zebras, including the one laying down is a baby zebra. Now, the zebras that we have here are the Hartmann's Mountain species of zebra. Hartmann's Mountain zebra does have the largest heart of all zebra species, which is very useful as they do primarily live in higher elevations or mountainous terrain where the atmosphere is thinner. So that large heart does allow them to pump blood to their extremities. Those baby zebras can also tell their moms apart from one another and other zebras by looking at the striped pattern on her hindquarters. I also see over here, my friends, the wildebeest. Now, the wildebeest is a member of the largest migrational herd in the entire world. In fact, each migration of wildebeest can consist of up to 1.5 million wildebeest. And when they migrate, they kick up enough dust that can be seen from outer space. Now, does anyone know what a group of wildebeest is called? It's not a herd. It's called a confusion. That's actually because of a myth related to how they run. The myth says that the wildebeest would actually run with their eyes closed, making them blinded. Which honestly just is not the case, as wildebeest do run with their eyes open. So they are very well aware of where they're running. However, confusion stuck, so that's what we're stuck with.
The elephants will wave those ears around to help lower their body temperature by as much as 15 degrees on a warm day. Rhino also notice that they have some mud and dirt on their backs. That's because they have very sensitive skin, which is very sensitive to the African sun, and they'll use that mud and dirt as a natural sunblock to help protect them. Now the elephants are endangered. That is due to poaching, which is illegal hunting by humans.
The wildebeest does also go by an alternate name that we call them sometimes, and that is the gnu, spelled G-N-U, with a silent G. It's actually named after the sound that a wildebeest makes. Something like a meow, 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 meow. And now, my friends, we have here coming in.
Now, my friends, on the left-hand side are some greater flamingos. Greater flamingos get their name because they are the largest of the flamingo species. But also why they are slightly less pink than their flamingo cousins. Flamingos are actually born white or gray and get their pink coloration as they mature through their diet of brine shrimp, which contains beta-carotene, which is a mineral that turns their feathers pink. Now, my friends, those flamingos live in large colonies, which we call flamboyances, and flamboyances can be made up as much as tens of thousands of members. My friends, as we continue on, if you look on the left-hand side, you'll see a mud wallow. Mud wallows are often a sign that we're headed towards rhino country. That's because rhinos will use that mud to help roll around in it and keep them safe from the sun, just like the elephant uses the dirt. I don't see any of those rhino friends, so we'll continue on through the reserve, see if we see any more animals. Coming up on the left-hand side, way back along the hill on the trees, is a cheetah laying down in the grass there. Cheetah are the fastest land animal, reaching speeds of 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 3 seconds, much faster than many of our sports cars. Those cheetahs can run very fast, up to 60 miles an hour, making them the fastest land animal, but they cannot keep up that speed for long distances. But while they are running at that top speed, they'll use their long tails to help change direction while they're running. There's going to be a couple more cheetahs up on the hill to the left-hand side. They're doing their best job to blend in. Unlike other large cats, cheetahs hunt primarily during the daytime. And also, unlike other large cats, cheetah cannot roar. So they communicate by purring, like the cat you might have at home, or by chirping like a bird. You also have several adaptations that help them in their environment. Let's say hunt during the day, they have large stripes under their eyes to help keep the sun away. Now, my friends, on these Kopi rocks here, predators like lions often use these as sources of lookout posts. And there is the male lion. You can tell it's a male because of the mane around his neck, which helps protect his throat and neck area. Females will do a majority of the hunting within the lion pride, while the males will stay back and protect the cubs. Lions do spend about 16 to 20 hours of the day sleeping or resting, so it is very common to find themselves just sprawled out over the savannah. During the daytime, lions have eyesight that's pretty similar to ours, but at night that increases by about 6 times as much. So unlike the cheetah who hunt during the day, lions primarily hunt at night. Off to the right-hand side, there is a group or crash of those white rhinos we were looking for earlier. White rhinos are the larger of the rhino species out here on the reserve. They weigh about 5,000 pounds each. Now, if you saw them, you might notice that they were not actually white in color. They get their name, the white rhinos, from a mistranslation of the Afrikaans word weit, meaning wide, which refers to their wide upper lip. Rhinos, just like the elephants, are in danger due to poaching from humans. They're often poached for their horns that are made of keratin. Keratin is the same substance that our hair and fingernails out of. Poachers believe that those horns have a medicinal value to humans, although that is not backed by any scientific study. Going to be some more of those rhinos off to the right-hand side. Off to the right-hand side, these little animals right here hanging out in the clearing in the bushes. That's another antelope species. Those are waterbuck. Waterbuck get their name because they spend most of their time in or around the water. That's because they have to drink every day, just like us humans. Other antelope species, such as those springbok, can sometimes go months without drinking any water. Now, my friends, off to the right-hand side, laying on the ground, are going to be some ostrich eggs. Ostrich eggs do weigh about 3 pounds each, which is the equivalent of about 24 chicken eggs. Those ostrich eggs are so strong, in fact, that a fully grown adult human could stand on them, and they would not break. Alrighty, my friends, we're now entering Magadi Glen. Magadi Glen is home to the Warden's Post. Warden uses this post to help keep a lookout over the reserve and make sure everything is going well. Warden has also taken in some adorable house pets known as Nigerian dwarf goats. These dwarf goats are the full size that they will become. They're very social and playful animals that produce a very sweet milk, which helps out the village economically and nutritionally. While they don't seem to be doing them right now, they do often use playful behaviors like climbing on top of buildings or rocks. That's used to help exert dominance over the group and bring the young to maturity. Those dwarf goats are also ruminants, meaning that they have 4 stomachs, so they're able to eat many of the other things that the animals around the reserve cannot, such as poison ivy and poison oak. Nigerian dwarf goats can eat those safely. If you want to get some more up-close time with those Nigerian dwarf goats, you can head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch to the affection section, where you might be able to pet some of those Nigerian dwarf goats. It does close at 4:30 p.m. this afternoon, so be sure to go hurry up and check that out before the last train leaves. Now, my friends, our safari journey is just about coming to a close as we head back to the village of Harambe. But my friends, your conservation journey has just begun. You can help out the animals we saw today by reducing, reusing, and recycling. You can also get yourself a reusable water bottle, or do very simple things at home like turning off the lights when you leave a room, or turning off the water while you brush your teeth. While those actions seem small, a little bit of teamwork, just like the elephants, can go a long way to preserving these animals for future generations. Well, my friends, if you have not gotten your animal fill for the day, you can always check out another safari later on this evening. We are open until 7 p.m. The animals do move around out there on the reserve, and no 2 safaris are ever the same. Also check out that Gorilla Falls exploration trail before you leave the village. The 15 or 20 minute walking trail, fully wheelchair and stroller accessible. Now, my friends, here in the village of Harambe, we never like to say goodbye. Goodbye is far too sad and far too final. So instead, we say a Swahili phrase, kwaherini, which means to go well. So, my friends on the truck, kwaherini, go well. And for my wilderness explorers on board, you've been riding on board Simba 1 with me today. Simba 1.
今日の一日はここまで。チャンネル登録グッドボタンよろしく。 次回の動画を見てね。バイバーイ